Last week I alluded to a time when the Mormon Tabernacle Choir sang for President Reagan at the parade in his first inauguration back in 1981. I thought it was a great moment in American history. But great moments don't happen all by themselves. And so, as Paul Harvey used to say, this is the rest of the story. When Reagan was elected, he got a lot of support from churches. And while the Republican Party appreciated the support, they didn't want to overemphasize this aspect lest they, bother some of their other bases of support. And so they ruled that no religious representation could be in the parade, the inaugural parade. Well, I was writing scripts for the Osmonds at the time, and I knew that they had been helping Reagan's campaign and that they wanted the Tabernacle Choir in the parade. Little political payback there. And also knew that Bill Critchfield, who was in charge of the Osmond operation, was a pretty tough negotiator. So Bill went to the leaders of the Republican Party and he told them essentially this: this is not a Mormon choir only. This is America's choir. Even President Ronald Reagan has said that. He may have even coined the phrase, I'm not sure. Well, Bill told them this choir started out in the cowboy country of the western United States. This choir has sung for 10 American presidents, beginning with William Howard Taft. This is the choir that consoled the nation. They sang all day on CBS radio to the whole nation to console the nation upon the death of President Franklin Delano Roosevelt. This choir travels the world as unofficial ambassadors to America. They had the longest running radio program in American radio history. He unloaded the heavy stuff on him. Well, he finally convinced them. And they said, okay, the Tabernacle Choir can be in the parade, but they cannot stop the parade. You can't stop in front of the president box and sing for him. Nothing stops the parade. I had to chuckle because when I was president of America's Freedom Festival at Provo, Bill was on one of our committees. He was our expert on parades because he had worked the Pasadena Rose Parade for the Rose Bowl, and there's no bigger parade in all the world, no more elegant parade than the Rose Parade. So he was our expert. And he constantly pounded on us, you cannot have gaps in the parade and you never stop the parade. So when the Republican leaders told Bill Critchfield that he couldn't stop the parade, they were, pardon the expression, they were preaching to the choir. So, but sometimes even choirs have to make a decision between virtues. And this was one such time. To fly the choir all the way to Washington, D.C., to bus them around there, provide for their accommodations and food there, to build the monster float. They built a float that was just big enough to get around the corners in Washington, and that wasn't big enough, so they built another float and tagged along behind that to carry the rest of the choir. It was a big undertaking. To do all that, and then not sing glory, glory, hallelujah to the President of the United States would be like writing the Declaration of Independence and then not signing it. Well, sometimes good fortune smiles on worthy projects. And fortunately, as the choir was coming along the parade, as they got right in front of the president's box, the truck pulling their floats died. And the driver jumped out quickly, threw open the hood, got inside, madly trying to fix things. And meanwhile, the choir was singing. And fortunately, the man got the truck going just as the last glory, glory, hallelujah was sailing over the crowd. And the camera zoomed in and got President Reagan wiping a tear from his cheek. It was a glorious moment. Well, fortunately, the problem with the truck was not too serious. It was fixed for only $50. And fortunately, that money was paid by an anonymous donor. The negotiations went like this. Anonymous donor said, how much would it cost to have a little truck problem in front of the president's box? Truck driver, oh, I think $50 would do it. Ooh. Bill told me later that somebody blew his cover to the president of the church, Spencer W. Kimball. I'm quite sure the whistleblower expected to blow up a scandal. Instead, President Spencer W. Kimball smiled and said, with a twinkle in his eye, "The Lord helps those who help themselves." His truth is marching on.